Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're gonna do Batman, Legends of the Dark Knight, issue number 25 by DC Comics, part 2 of Flyer of, 2 of 3 by Howard Chaykin and Gil Kane. Now, the first, issue of, well, not number 1, but from this arc, I liked it very much. This particular part ramps the dialogue up to 11. I just read it. I'm still stunned, bamboozled, shaken, or whatever you say it, because the dialogue, the story. Well, let's say the dialogue is funny, it's highly offensive, and it's crazy at the same time. Now, watch with me, and I'm going to tell you all about it. So, we begin here. Great shot, by the way. When Batman, or Bruce, and Alfred, he's been invaded by this armor, and I'm sorry, I have to recollect myself a little bit. So this piece of technology, this suit, comes in and he says, "Hey, Alfred, get out of here and seal all the X's." "But Master Bruce." "No buts, Alfred. This is what I do." So this is still a younger Batman. For those who are not see my first video, I highly recommend you check that out and subscribe to my channel and like my video and all that jazz, because it's fantastic. So it zaps Alfred, and Bruce attacks it immediately, but he gets his ass handed to him, and. So this Mark robot suit does this meeping sound, meep, meep, meep. And it takes the Flyer, because that's why we call him nowadays. It's called Curtis, that's his real name. And he has a very, very tragic backstory that made me a little bit feel for him. And, it flees then, or, leaving Bruce and Alfred behind. But then the dialogue goes a little bit crazy. So Bruce says, "Alfred, nobody gets away with this in my home, whoever you are. Forget your sleep. I'm your nightmare now." Was this called crazy? And we switch now back to a laboratory somewhere in Gotham. And so this guy, Curtis, he's been saved by his mother. She is a... how do you say, Nazi sympathizer, I guess. And she's still in belief in the Aryan dream, if you will, in this comic. And so she froze his body. I'm sorry, something in my throat. Froze his body into this vat. And she says, "You're just like your father. So much wretched refuse." I'm not familiar with this word, by the way. Maybe one of you can tell me in the comments below what this means. She says, "A loser. But for me, you'll be drooling in some veterans hospital, surrounded by shrieking cripples and God knows what minorities. Thank me for my therapy I've provided for you, for the opportunity I've given you, to put your pitiful protoplasm at the service of your government." And he says, "You know how much I appreciate everything you've done." So although he loathes his mother at some point, he still, believes in what she does somehow, and now wants to have, her love. That's what he's trying to chase. And he's very disfigured. She says, "They all pay for what they did to him, to his father and her husband, or her father and his grandfather, I guess, and even you. Who knows what you might have become under his guidance. I remember I was a kid, little. Grandfather gave me smutty pictures of my birthday. Jews, Negroes, what the fuck? To remind you of your innate racial superiority. Now, this is a man, but nothing but his own strength and cunning. He found a weak spot and defeated my Goliath suit. He's incredible, he says Curtis. He's the bravest man I've ever seen. He rescued me. And I'm sorry, I continue to laugh of all the ridiculous that's been said and what's happening here on screen. He says, the suit's air supply ruptured. I would have drowned. Not only is he a man of power, he is also a man of profound mercy. A man who makes decisions and acts on them. A man with an extraordinary sense of drama. Basically, she is all fawning over him. And but then also psychoanalyzing his what he is, how he moves and behaves. It really fascinates him. She says, this Batman is a wonder, and unlike the metropolis Ubermensch, the Bat seems to be merely an inspired daredevil, if it's the word, with some surprisingly sophisticated technical backup, but nothing which overwhelms his personal role. Ha! Typically, the red-influenced daily press call him a psychopath. And then he calls his mother Dr. Eisenmann. She says, is there any progress on the radical skin graft procedure? So yeah, he wants to get an upgrade. And then she says, don't nag, Kurt. You haven't begun to pay for the operations. First, you have to settle with your nemesis, the Batman. Well, Batman, in the meantime, is raining terror on all these people on the streets, shooting and killing, and then the never switches. He says, no more guns on my streets. He says, your friends have bailed out. Just you and me. One-on-one, perfect for communicating. No more guns. Oh, classic Joker. Anyway, this is great. And but it's getting crazier. So the news picked up all these actions of Batman, and they unlike the papers, that he's a great guy, and the city of Gotham is now being cleaned up, and it's a fresh of breath air, and he feels now safe going out with him around. And then the doctor says he is an Aryan god with the will to match. I haven't felt like this it has been a long time. She's getting horny thinking about the Batman. I thought to myself, what is happening here? So this is all great. Meanwhile, Bruce is visiting Alfred, and so he's doing his detective thing, and he figured out that it's not that the suit is not privately funded or developed by any foreign power, and Alfred says, well, maybe it's our own government, something covertly funded gone wrong, or the Luftwaffe, and he says, elements of the Eisenmann's outfit, as well as the remote-controlled construct that took him, remind me of the old V2. Quite right, the Doodlebug, back in 44. Now, I'm not all familiar with the Second World War and, with weapons and planes and whatever. So, well, maybe it's just old World War II technology that is crafted into the suit. And Bruce figured it out. So he is now stalking the rooftops. Then we're going back to Dr. Eisenmann. She says, I've done everything to keep in perfect shape. I have the body of a woman half my age, and I am entitled to finally have a man worthy of it. Go out there tonight, Curtis. Bring me back the Batman. And she says, am I your procurer now? What choice do you have? Do you ever want to walk and live among people without striking terror in every heart? Do it, Curtis. Bring him unharmed. And so basically saying, go ahead, bring me the Batman, and I will reward you or something like that. And now that he is in the suit, he's now impervious to pain. Well, again, Batman is doing his Batman stuff. It looks just great. And the narrative is also fantastic. I love the art of Gil Kane. He has a very weird, not weird. His style is very recognizable, and I'm happy he's doing a Batman book. But moving on. So What's it called, by the way? I just forget. Marauder 2. Yeah, that's the suit. So the Marauder 2 comes with Curtis inside, and Batman picks up a garbage can and throws it into his face. Of course, that doesn't do anything. And the Doctor is watching, awe in awe. Like she says, Siegfried slaying his dragon. Or not. So he's getting captured because, well, the suit is way too strong. And it's... So he's been now captured in some kind of a, I don't know, I want to say lair, but that's not it. It's some kind of facility. She said, so Batman says, where am I? We'll discuss that later. Right now, I want to thank you for testing out the combat suit in impromptu maneuvers. You are Eisenman's mother. And I'm sorry, I keep laughing, but it's so incredibly funny and crazy all the time. She says, don't be silly. Forget about me. It's you I'm interested in. You are the sexiest man alive. You have the sexiest man I've ever seen. When I read this, I was laughing so hard because it's just... I'm sorry. It's just so over the top. Really, he says? I watched your career since you first appeared in the tabloids. Tall, dark, and handsome. What more could a woman ask for? You gotta be kidding. For what it's worth, I'm not into bondage. But you're certainly into dressing up. And then Curtis steps in. He's annoyed. For God's sake, he says, what kind of crap is this? I gave my damn life, my damn leg. And she says, silence, Curtis. No matter what I do, what I sacrifice, it's never enough. Then this faggot dresses up in leather, and you can't keep your hands off him. What am I, Mom? Too ugly to love? And then Batman says something. He's getting angry at Batman, and he's keep punching him. I mean, the dialogue is, like I said, is highly offensive. But I respect the thing that they're going for here. I mean, it's very unapologetic. And I'm all for, free speech and all that stuff. Of course, you cannot say everything, but, people, this is a book from the 90s, I guess. And I just, it's so refreshing because everything is now so censored. You cannot say anything anymore without somebody is getting offended. By the way, you need to get this book. This is one of the best books I've read. Batman, Dracula, Red Rain, Doc Moons, and Kelly Jones and Malcolm Jones. Get it now. It's triple thumbs up. That's a word I might just made up. Anyway, so Curtis beating on the Batman. Curtis, stop this immediately. You're the one who made me what I am. You and your bats. I was a pilot, a flyer. One thing I achieved for myself, and you destroyed it. Kurt, if you ever hope to be anything again, you will leave. And she says the same thread over and over. Don't push me, Kurt. If the thread is familiar, it is far from idle. Don't, she says, and he says it. So he goes, you gutless zero. You are far nicht, probably a German word I'd have to look up. Worth nothing. That's right, sissy. Run. Oh my God! This writing, man. You both need help, says the Batman. You run around aerobatic clothes, beating up hoodlums, and I'm crazy. Kurt has problems, mostly because he's his father's son. Where am I, Miss Eisenhardt, and why? I know who you are. You past history with NASA, other governments, but then she's talking to him, and then she says, I haven't had a lover since the night Curtis was conceived, and I haven't desired a man since my father died. I don't think it's gonna work. Of course it is. I kept myself in perfect shape. I'm still fertile. Fertile? You're nuts, Miss Eisenman. Call me Birgit. He said this. Where is this going? And she kisses him, and it looks fantastic, all this stuff here. Oh man, I love it. And she's basically all fawning over him. He says, you're out of your mind. I don't have to, and I don't do this to meet women. She's being offended. I will not be talked to this by anyone. So like it or not, Liebchen, I suggest you lie to back and enjoy it. I've kept myself tuned to youthful health and joy to fulfill the destiny of bearing a child, your child. Okay, it goes like this. So she's, I don't know, gonna rape him? What's going on? I love this so much. This is crazy. Oh man, I haven't laughed I have laughed a lot in when it comes to comics, but never with a Batman comic, because Batman is always, dark and broody and moody. There's nothing to laugh at. But this dialogue, man, this writing, it's oh man, and now I've read it for the second time. I'm still giggling like a little kid. I can't help it. This is so cool. Guys, let me know what you think about it. See you next time. Bye.